Hey everyone, welcome back to Addie P's Real Estate Tea, where today we want to talk about distressed properties and how to get them listed. Now, before I get into the video, as I always so graciously ask, and you also graciously oblige, if you like what you hear in this video, please hit that thumbs up button. Also, consider subscribing. I do my best to post here on a weekly basis. Anywhere between a Wednesday and a Friday, I usually drop a video. All right. And when you subscribe, please hit the bell notification to be notified of future videos on the channel. And you already know, if you follow your girl over on Instagram, don't forget to drop her a heart and show her some love. All right. Now, distressed properties, that can mean that you are on the verge of foreclosure, selling your property as a short sale. It could be that it's an estate sale, that you are selling the property on behalf of someone who may be in a skilled nursing facility or someone who unfortunately has passed away, and you are representing them in this real estate transaction as the seller. Or it could be just an old dilapidated property that has not been cared for, that needs work and that is distressed. Okay, so in that category, which it's in a league of its own, you really want to first assess the situation. Excuse me, I can't talk today. The situation, and see exactly what's going on. Are there delinquent liens on the property, meaning that, delinquent mortgage or delinquent taxes? Is it in disrepair and it's going to need tens of thousands of dollars to get it up to par and to get it habitable? Is it, I already mentioned as far as liens are concerned and so forth, any kind of required maintenance. So you want to get a hold of those things first to see if that kind of fits the bill there. Next, you want to hire a real estate professional. You definitely want to make sure that it is someone who is going to know how to navigate those waters and get your house out there. Make sure that everything is disclosed, and of course, being transparent. As a listing agent of distressed properties, I've listed plenty in the past. You always want to make sure that anything that is known, that it's out there. You never want anyone to come back to you and say, oh, well, hey, I thought that, didn't you know that, this well was out of water, or anything of that nature. You want to make sure that you are being as transparent as possible. If there's any old debts or anything of that nature, to disclose it in the listing, and make sure that you tell your real estate professional anything that you do know. All right. You want to make sure that you next highlight that potential in the property. Yes, it may look like this right now, and it may be in total disrepair, but with some love, with some TLC, as I like to say, some tender loving care, you can bring it back to life. And a lot of properties are like that. I know a quick side story here. With distressed properties, like I said, I've sold plenty of them, and one of them being my grandmother's old home, God rest her soul. But her and her late partner had a home here in Southeaston years ago, and she was already in a nursing facility. And a lot of nursing homes and nursing facilities, they ask that you liquidate any assets that you may have in order to pay for your stay there. So she in turn had to sell her home. Well, her late partner was at that time, he was still alive, but he had just passed, and the house was now vacant. It had been condemned. It was really in bad shape. So I said, okay, hey, your granddaughter, she's a realtor, step in, I'll list the house for sale. Had it for sale, got a buyer for it immediately, and the week of settlement, I get a phone call from the title officer saying, oh, well, your grandmother's going to have to bring X, Y, and Z amount of money to settlement. And I said, well, why so? Like, why is this happening? She does, and furthermore, she doesn't have any funds to bring to settlement. Well, long and short of it, here, my grandmother, old school, you think, hey, my house is paid off, and she trusted, unfortunately, the wrong folks, and there was indeed liens on the property, things that she didn't know, I didn't know. So long and short, we did get the situation rectified. We did get to settlement. That was actually my very first short sale. I was able to negotiate with both lien holders, because there was not only just one, but 2 lien holders on the property, and they agreed to accept less than what was owed on that mortgage, on both mortgages, to release the lien and get us to settlement. So the house ended up selling. The person that purchased it was an investor. That investor did turn around, fix it and flip it and resold it. The house turned out beautifully. But had I been given the information and did, some research up front, I would have known that, hey, there are mortgages there, or if my grandmother would have known, like I said, and been in a good company of the folks that, kind of got her into this mess, unfortunately, I would have been able to say, okay, hey, this is going to be a short sale. But you live and you learn. Luckily, it all turned out well. And we, like I said, were able to get the house sold, but you want to be transparent. But back to the whole highlighting potential, it was a nice big home. It was a single detached home. There was off-street parking ability. So I was able to highlight those things in the listing and talk about that. And that in turn helps give potential buyers some vision of what they can potentially do there in the property. Now, lastly, you want to be open to negotiation. Using my little story there as an example, I was open to the fact that I knew whoever the buyer was going to come with an offer that was maybe lower than what I had put out there for asking price, to offset the cost of repair of the house. Like I said, the house was in grave disrepair and really needed a lot of work to get it up to speed. So we were already in that mindset to move forth and know that we weren't going to get the asking price, but we, hey, as close as possible. So when you're going into these distressed property sale situations, please don't expect to potentially get 10, 15, 20,000 over asking if you know that there are these types of issues going on in the background, and to expect to come out a little short, potentially, even though we are in a more seller driven market. So that's all I have for you all today. Again, thank you for joining me. Please feel free to comment below, especially if you want to hear some more real estate related tea and content here on the channel. And I will be back next week with the next video, and hopefully talking a little bit better than I have during this video. I'm fried, y'all. Excuse me. All right. Until the next one, you all have a blessed one.